cartoon characters. Let's be real. Some cartoon characters are just downright annoying. Sure, they might be iconic, memorable, and even kind of entertaining, but that doesn't stop us from wanting to reach through the screen and tell them to chill out. Today, we're taking a deep dive into some of the most infuriating cartoon characters of all time. The ones who made us scream at our TVs in frustration.
Boo! Ah! Oh, I forgot something. Morning, sleepyhead. What's on the agenda for us today?
So buckle up as we explore 4 of the most obnoxious, over-the-top cartoon personalities we all love to hate. Dee Dee. Next, we have Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory. Now, on the surface, Dee Dee might just seem like your typical, overly curious older sister. But if you've spent any time watching Dexter's Laboratory, you know she's the definition of annoying sibling energy. Dexter, the genius boy scientist, is trying to save the world with his secret experiments. And here comes Dee Dee, twirling, skipping, and destroying every important gadget in sight. Dee Dee's entire existence seems to revolve around making Dexter's life miserable. She has this almost superhuman ability to find Dexter's secret lab, no matter how well he hides it. And once she's in, you know it's only a matter of time before something important gets blown up, broken, or covered in glitter. Dexter spends hours crafting his scientific wonders, and Dee Dee undoes it all in minutes, all while humming and giggling without a care in the world. And let's not forget her catchphrase. Ooh, what does this button do?
What does this button do?
It's practically a trigger for chaos. You just know that as soon as Dee Dee asks that question, Dexter's about to lose another piece of his sanity. She embodies the worst parts of having a sibling. No respect for privacy, zero understanding of boundaries, and an almost magical ability to ruin everything you've worked for. In countless episodes, Dee Dee's curiosity leads to disaster. Whether it's blowing up Dexter's lab, ruining his experiments, or pressing that one button she absolutely shouldn't touch, Dee Dee is consistently Dexter's worst nightmare. Remember the time she released Dexter's neuratomic protocore into the house? Or the time she activated his inflato ray and turned everything into a bouncy nightmare? Yeah, Dexter's life would be so much easier if he could just figure out a way to keep Dee Dee out. If Dee Dee were your sibling, you'd probably spend half your allowance buying locks, and the other half replacing the things she inevitably destroys. Her curiosity is cute until it ends up costing you a whole new secret laboratory. Eric Cartman. Next up is one of the most iconic and controversial characters in cartoon history. Eric Cartman from South Park. Now let's be honest here. Cartman isn't just annoying. He's vile, offensive, and sometimes downright evil. But somehow, that's what makes him one of the most memorable parts of South Park. He embodies every terrible trait a person could have. Selfishness, greed, arrogance, and an absolute disregard for anyone else. Where do we even begin? Cartman is the definition of a character who you love to hate. He's consistently horrible to his friends, especially Kyle, and he's always scheming some underhanded plan to get what he wants. Whether he's starting a fake Christian rock band to make money, pretending to be handicapped to win the Special Olympics, or, worst of all, tricking a kid into eating his own parents. Cartman's actions are beyond annoying. They're downright cruel.
All you've ever done is work to ruin my life. Well, now I'm finally gonna fight back!
Cartman's voice alone can grate on your nerves after a while. His constant whiny tone and obnoxious laughter are the audio equivalent of nails on a chalkboard. And unlike most cartoon characters who have some kind of redeeming quality, Cartman seems to lack any trace of empathy. He's all about getting what he wants, no matter who he hurts along the way. There are countless examples of Cartman's horrible behavior, but one that stands out is the infamous Scott Tenorman Must Die episode, where Cartman orchestrates a plan to feed a boy his own parents in chili form, all because Scott embarrassed him. That's beyond annoying. That's next-level villainous. And let's not forget how he tries to start a race war just because he feels like it. His manipulation, scheming, and sheer self-centeredness make Cartman one of the most frustrating characters ever to exist in animation. Cartman is like that one kid in school who would sell you a cookie for $1, only to tell you later it was actually a cookie tax and now you owe him $5 more. You don't know how he gets away with it, but somehow he always does. Mr. Krabs. Ah, Mr. Krabs, everyone's favorite money-obsessed boss from SpongeBob SquarePants. At first glance, Mr. Krabs is just your average, slightly greedy restaurant owner. But the more you watch, the more you realize that Mr. Krabs takes greed to a whole new level. In fact, his obsession with money is so extreme that it often leads him to make some incredibly questionable choices. Mr. Krabs' entire personality revolves around one thing: money. He doesn't care who he has to exploit, underpay, or overcharge, as long as he can add a little more cash to his pile. His employees, mainly SpongeBob and Squidward, are overworked and underpaid, and Mr. Krabs doesn't even bat an eye. He's the kind of boss who would charge you for using the company restroom, then brag about how much he saved by cutting the toilet paper budget. One of the worst things about Mr. Krabs is how often he puts profit over the well-being of others. Remember the time he sold SpongeBob's soul for just 62 cents? Or when he charged his own daughter Pearl to attend her prom? Yeah, Mr. Krabs has absolutely no limits when it comes to making a buck. There are many episodes where Mr. Krabs' greed takes center stage. In The Krabby Chronicle, he exploits SpongeBob's journalism skills to make money, regardless of the lies and harm it causes. And then there's the time he tried to steal Mrs. Puff's car because he thought it had a lot of value. Mr. Krabs will do anything for a quick profit, making him not just annoying, but downright ruthless at times. Mr. Krabs is the kind of guy who would find a penny on the ground and then try to sue the person who dropped it for emotional damages. If he could find a way to monetize breathing, he'd do it, and he'd charge SpongeBob double. Mojo Jojo. Next on our list is Mojo Jojo, the notorious, over-explaining, and banana-loving villain from the Powerpuff Girls. Now, every superhero needs an arch-nemesis, and for the Powerpuff Girls, it's Mojo Jojo, a mutated monkey with a giant brain under a glass dome.
Yes, it is true. Mojo Jojo is not ham, but Mojo Jojo is handsome. And Mojo is here to destroy.
But while Mojo Jojo might have the smarts, he's also one of the most infuriating villains you could ever imagine. Why? Because he just never stops talking. Mojo Jojo's main problem isn't that he's evil, although that's certainly an issue. It's that he's so incredibly long-winded about it. This guy can't do anything without launching into a full-on monologue explaining exactly why he's going to do it, how he's going to do it, and what the Powerpuff Girls are going to do when he's doing it. It's like he took a villainy course and majored in over-explaining 101. It's almost as if he wants to be caught. By the time he finishes telling the girls his evil plan, they've already foiled it. Mojo Jojo isn't even a particularly successful villain. Despite his grand plans and elaborate inventions, he fails every single time. But he never learns. He just keeps building more machines, making more speeches, and ultimately getting his butt kicked by 3 kindergartners. It's hard to take him seriously when half of his screen time is dedicated to rambling about his plans, and the other half is him getting thrown halfway across Townsville. In countless episodes, Mojo Jojo's failure isn't just due to the Powerpuff Girls' powers, it's often because of his inability to keep his mouth shut. In The Beat-Alls, Mojo forms an alliance with other villains, and yet, his own need for control and to monologue ultimately undermines the group. In the episode Mo Job, he tries to team up with Princess Morbucks, but again, his over-explaining and arrogance make him fail spectacularly. Mojo's greatest weakness is his love for hearing himself talk. Every time he's got the girls cornered, instead of just, winning, he has to deliver a speech about why he's winning, which gives the girls just enough time to beat him up and save the day. Every single time. Mojo Jojo is the kind of villain who would hold up a bank and spend 10 minutes explaining why it's the perfect crime, only to be caught because the cops had enough time to finish their donuts, arrive, and arrest him. Sometimes you almost feel bad for the guy, but then he starts talking again, and you remember why he's so annoying.